Hi everyone, welcome to Practicing Interview, and I'm excited to kick off this Java tutorial series. So in this series, we'll cover everything you need to know about Java from basic to advanced topics. So whether you are a beginner or someone brushing up on Java, this is the perfect place for you. Okay? Today in the first video, we'll start with the data types and variables. Okay, this is a very essential topic in Java. Any programming, if you are going to start, then you need to understand that, what is data type and what is variable. By end of this lesson, you will understand how to declare a variable and use the different data types in Java. Okay, let us get started. So let us start from the variable. So in this variable, you think it's like a container. It holds the data in the Java program. So think of a variable as a labeled box. Okay. So you just think of the variable as a labeled box where you can store the information and retrieve the information. So in this box, you are going to store the information and we are going to retrieve the information. Okay. So how to declare that, variables? Syntax for declaring the variable. So we can say data type, and we have a variable name equal to, then we need to assign a value. Okay, it has a name, okay, and a type and the value. So for an example, I'll show it to the example. Here, for example, I want to store the age. Int age equal to 25. Okay, the same way if I want to store the name, then data type is a string name equal to, you can say any values, something like this. Okay, here int and string, right? Here int and string are the data types. The same with the age and names are the variable. Then the 25 and Raja, those values. Okay, so now let us understand, how we have to declare a variable with the naming rules. First, we need to understand the naming rules for when you are declaring a variable. So Java has some rules when naming a variables. So first thing is what we need to do. We need to understand must start with letter. Okay. So must start with the letter, or you can go with the underscore, right? Otherwise, then you can go with the dollar symbol, right? So these are the things you can add. You must start with the letter. Letter means what is that? Like you can add a variable name, something we have given, right? Age. This is a letter. Okay. So this is the way you can add. You can add an underscore or you can add a dollar. So what you cannot add? So you cannot start with number. Okay. How? You cannot start with the number. For example, okay, int, I can say int my variable equal to, you can assign a value. This way. So this is the valid one. Okay. Now suppose I want to say int to number equal to 20. So this is the invalid one. Why? Because you should not start with the number variable. Okay. When you are declaring a variable, you should not start with the number. So this is the invalid one. Okay. The same way, you should not go with you cannot use the reserved keyword. What is the reserved keyword? So for example, here int, string, and in a class, right? All those things are reserved keyword in the Java. So you cannot use, for example, int class equal to 20. So this one you cannot declare because the class is a Java reserved keyword. So this is also invalid. Okay, you cannot use the reserved keyword. So you can say cannot use Java reserved keyword. Okay, so you can say int or class. Okay, these are reserved keywords. So you should not go with that. Okay, the same way, the Java is a case sensitive. Okay, Java is a case sensitive. So if you are declaring a variable age equal to, you can give a value. Right? So this is a separate one. If you are adding another, with the caps, okay, the meaning is same, but you are giving a, this is a small case, this is the uppercase, right? So now both are not same in Java. So this is a different in Java. Okay, it will consider this is a different and it will consider this is a different because Java is a case sensitive. Okay, so it is a case sensitive. So you can say age and age are different. Okay, so this is the way you need to declare a variable. Okay, we need to understand when you are declaring a variable, this is the rules we need to understand. I hope this is clear. Then let us move on to the, and when you are declaring a variable, you need to understand, must start with the letter or underscore or dollar. You cannot start with the number. Okay, the same way, cannot use the Java reserved keyword, and Java is a case sensitive. So when you are declaring a variable, age and the age are different. Okay, so this is we need to understand when you are declaring a variable. Now let us understand the data types. Okay, so data types in Java, we have two data types. Okay, two main types in Java. Okay, in data types. So, what is the two data types? One is a primitive data types. Okay, one is a primitive data type, and another one is a non-primitive data type. Okay, one is a primitive data type and another one is a non-primitive data type. So let us understand first primitive data type. So in primitive data type, so first we'll understand primitive data type. In primitive data type, Java provides 8 primitive data types. Okay, 8 primitive data types. Okay, so which store the simple values. Okay, what are the 8 primitive data types? Let us understand one by one. So the first one is we can say byte. Byte is one of the data types. So if you want to store the simple values, then you can use the byte. So how it is going to store the values? It's based on the size. So in the byte, it is going to accept the size is 1 byte. Okay, 1 byte means what is 1 byte? Byte is a group of 8 bits equal to 8 bits. Okay, so it is a standard unit used to measure the memory size, meaning that it is hold the value as per the memory size only. So here in byte is going to hold the 8 bits. Okay, what is the 8 bit? How it is going to hold the value? So 8 bit equal to 2 to the power of, okay, 2 to the power of 7. Okay, if you are going to the minus 1, for example, here it is going to 2 to the power of 7. If you, calculate, then it will be coming 128. So here minus 1. So minus 1 is a 127. So now from minus 127 to, okay, then it is going to hold a value of 128. 128 is the 2 to the power of 7, that is a 128. So this much of value you can able to store it in a byte data type. Okay, byte, based on the size, right? So you need to understand how we are going to declare the variable, how we are going to store the value. Okay, when you are going to store the value based on the size, it is going to, we have to allocate the data type. Okay, now, for example, I'll show you here byte b equal to, I'll say 125. So now this we are not going to get any error. So now this is the way, because it is going to allocate, like, we can able to store minus 127 to 128 values. So now I am trying to add more values. Okay, see now it is going to throw you the error. It is saying that type mismatch cannot convert from into to byte because it is going to hold the value, more than a value. Okay, out of range, byte or out of range. So it is going to store only the, if we have to go with the integer type only in byte, it is not going to store. So you need to understand how much value, what are the value you are going to store. So based on the value, you have to assign a data type. So byte always going to store only the 120 minus 127 to 128 only. Okay. So now let us move on to the next data type. So the next data type is a sort. So sort is actually it is going to hold the 2 bytes. Okay. 2 bytes is a 2 bytes equal to is a 16 bit. Okay. So 16 bit means how much value? 16 bit equal to 2 to the power of 16, like 15 minus 1. Okay. That is the value, means so much of value we can able to store. The same way we have another data type called int. Int is going to hold the 4 bytes. Okay. The same way we have another data type. Then if you want to store more values, then you need to select based on your values. So now if I want to store more value, then you have to go with the long data type also. See the byte, short and integer long. These four you can able to store it in a numeric values, that is the number values. Based on the size, you have to allocate the data type. Okay. So now long, it is going to hold the 8 bytes. Okay. So now 8 bytes means what? 2 to the power of, 8 into 32. 2 to the power of 32. 31 minus 1. Okay. So this is the way you need to understand. So then we have another data type called float. Okay. If you want to store the decimal value. So far we have seen like a byte, short, integer, long is the only numeric value. If you want to store the decimal value, then we have a two different data type. One is a float, one is a double. So the float is a 4 bytes and double is a 8 bytes. So that is where we have a different types of data types are there. Because based on your size, you have to go with the data type. Then if you want to store the characters, then we have another data type called character. Okay. So the same way, if you want to store like, float value, you can say like 13.14. So you need to add a suffix as a F over here, right? If you are going with that float, then you need to add decimal value with the suffix as a F. The same way long value also, if you want to store the long value, then long number equal to, you can store any values with the suffix as a L. Okay. So now the double value also you can able to store. For example, 66.35, then you can add a double value. Then character, how you are going to store? So you need to store the character value with the single quotes only, right? For example, this way. This is the character. Okay, then another data type is a Boolean. So Boolean will going to hold the only the thing is like, true or false. So if you are going to check like, Boolean is Java fun, true or false. Okay. So something if you want to store the true or false, then you have to go with the Boolean. So now see how many data types we have seen. 8 data types. This is called primitive data types. Integer, long, float, double, character and Boolean. Short and byte also. So this is 8 primitive data types. Okay, let us declare some variable with the different data types and understand. Okay, so I'll go over here. So now I can say int number equal to, I'll go with the value of 50. Okay, now if you want to store the long value, more than 10 digits. Suppose you want to store the card number, credit card number and debit card number, right? So if you are going to store int card equal to, you can say 16-digit number, right? Then it is not going to allow the, integer data type because this is a, type integer out of range. So you need to go with the long data type only. So now if you go with that long, then you need to add a prefix as a L. Then it is going to accept. So this is the way you need to declare the long value. Okay, if you want to add a decimal, if you want to store the decimal value, then you can say double amount equal to something like this. So this is the decimal value. If you want to store the decimal value, then you have go with the double and float value. Then we have a character. Then if you are going to store first letter, okay, equal to, then you can say within the single quote you need to add. This is the way you have to go with the character. Then if you are going with the Boolean greater equal to, then you need to assign true or false only. Okay, let us print this value and see how this is working. Suppose if I want to print, I can say integer number. Okay, the same way. Long, just we are adding a plus, that is a concatenation. It is going to add a value. I mean with the this whatever the variable value it is going to concatenate with here. Okay. So now long, what is the value? We have a card. The same way, I have an amount is there. So I can say amount plus amount. Then what is the first letter? First letter plus first this is creative, right? It is going to return true or false. Now let us save this and run this. We'll see how this is working. The integer, long values, amount, first letter and is greater, everything is getting printed. Okay. So this is what your primitive data type. So when you are seeing over here, when you are adding a suffix, right, it is not going to print it. Okay. This is what we are just giving an instruction. So this is the long value I just wanted to store. So based on that, it is going to store the long value. I mean, it is going to allocate more spaces. Okay. When you are retrieving the value, it is going to return you only the value. It is not going to print the L and all. Even if you are adding a float value also, when you are adding a suffix as a F, right, it is not going to print the F. Okay, that is just we are giving a instruction to the, Java program. Fine. So now let us understand this is a primitive data type, right? So now let us understand what is a non-primitive data type. So non-primitive data types are non-primitive data types. So non-primitive data type, we can say it includes string and we can say array, okay, and classes. Okay. These are, non-primitive data type. Unlike a primitive data type, non-primitive data types store complex data structure. For example, in arrays, right, if you want to store the multiple values, then you can able to store over here. The string value, string also we can able to store. This is a non-primitive data type. Okay, for example, I'll just go with the string. For example, I can say greeting equal to hello Java world. So this is a data type. Okay, this is the variable name, and we are assigning some values over there. When you are assigning a string values, always you need to add with the double quotes. Within the double quotes only you need to add. Numeric values, no need of numeric values directly we can add. Okay. string values, you need to go with the double quotes. If you are going with the character, then you have to go with the single quotes. Within the single quotes only we have to add. Okay. So now this is a string. So what is the array? So array means, suppose if you want to store the multiple value. For example, in integer, I have a collection of values. I have a number of values are there in an integer. So for example, you can say marks. Okay. In marks, you have a 5 subject or 6 subject marks is there, right? So all the values you can't able to, you can store it in a only one data type, that is an integer array data type. So how we are going to store the multiple values? You can say comma. This way you can able to store. Okay, within the curly brace, you can store the multiple values. Okay, so this is what this is called non-primitive data type. This is what the data type, primitive and non-primitive data types. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Now let us move on to the typecasting. So typecasting also one of the important concept. So typecasting convert one data type into another data type. So if you are, you want to convert one data type to, let us understand how we can to convert one data type to another data type. Java supports two types. One is a implicit casting. Okay. And another is a explicit. One is a implicit casting, another is a explicit casting. So implicit casting means, for example, smaller type, convert to larger type automatically. That is a, implicit casting. For example, I can say int number equal to 10. So now this is the way I am just storing. Now I just wanted to convert this integer value into the double. So in this case, what I can say, double new number equal to, I can say number. So now this will automatically convert. For example, int to double. Okay, this is automatic conversion. Okay, this is the automatic conversion. Smaller data type convert to larger auto type automatically happening. This is called implicit casting. Okay. Okay, this is called implicit casting, meaning that, so now this is a smaller data type integer and we are converting into double larger data type. So this is automatically happening. When you are declaring a variable itself, it is automatically convert the int data type to double data type. This is what you are in implicit casting. The same way, if you want to the, explicit casting, let us understand explicit casting. So explicit casting means, for example, if I want to, larger type need to manually convert it into smaller type. That is what explicit casting. So this will happening manually. Okay. So now how it is going to happen? For example, I have a double price equal to, I can say this value. Okay. Now I just wanted to convert into integer. So in this case, int new price equal to, here I just wanted to manually convert. So I have to say this is the integer. Then I'm saying price. Then only it is going to accept. So now this is, we are converting double to integer. Okay. So this is manually we are doing. Okay. Manual casting. Okay. This is double to integer. This is small to, larger data type. This is implicitly, automatically it happen. But when you are doing a explicit casting, then we need to do manually. We are going to add it the integer over here. Then indeed it is going to convert. Okay. Now I'll go and show you here. So integer. So for example, number equal to 20. Okay. Now this is, integer data type. Now I want to convert double new number equal to number. So now it is automatically converted. Now if you are printing, it is going to convert it as a double value. Now let's print this. So let us run this. See what happened. Number value is getting printed. This is a integer data type. When we are converting a double, it will going to hold the decimal value. So when it is converted, see it is printed as with the dot 0. Okay, it is converted. Automatically it converted. Now I just wanted to convert from the double value to integer. So for that I can say int, we say double price equal to 0.25. Now this is the double values, right? Decimal value. Now I want to convert int new price equal to, so directly if I add a price, right? So the same way how we have given like this, it is not going to accept because type mismatch cannot convert from double to integer. So what you have to do manually, because this is a larger data type too, we are going to convert it in a smaller type. So it is not going to accept. So manually what we need to do, we need to say integer. Okay, then we can able to, it is going to accept. So this is the way we need to convert from smaller to larger and larger to smaller type as well. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Today we learned what variables are and how to declare them, and we have seen what is primitive and non-primitive data type and naming rules for the variable. We have seen typecasting in Java as well. Okay, and hands-on example also we have seen. I hope this is clear. In the next video, we'll cover operators in Java. Okay, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I will be happy to answer them. So sign off. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.